No Genshin player in the history of the video game would ever have imagined seeing a dream fulfilled. An item that allows you to craft an artifact more or less to your liking, that can also solve buildings or fix. Or make perfect many other characters, and today is finally a reality, and we have it in the game. If you haven't stopped thinking at some point that defense and flat life is going to come out in the last substats and it's going to all go away, and the item won't do any good, and we'll be all mini saying, oh, they haven't put on one thing with the broken rung. Leave a good like, a good Bennett, ulti, subscribe, leave a good comment for algorithm. Thanks for all the support to the channel. Remember that it is free, it costs you nothing. It helps a lot that the channel and the video will be position, recommend, grow, explode. We're super grateful to all the channel team and me. Run, I'm watching you now. Thanks for that like, and today we're going to see the Holy Frost. How not to waste it? What are the best alternatives and options to use it? Something even applied mathematics to what is the maximum probability that I can help you in the account. That is, that hypothetical situations can improve or solve. Also applying that, we already know that the critical proportion and other stats are more valuable, and that chalices, clocks, and helmets are also less easy to use than a flower and pie. A pen. And if it is worth it in newer, older characters, it deserves more to build new things or improve IT. Before and many other variants and doubts that surely all of you are now raising with this blessed frost. So, like I said, leave a good comment, exploit all this, and let's go with the blessed frost. The new item that long ago seemed like a dream and today is real. Well, first explanation of how it works. Number 1, and I didn't know this, and I think it's crazy, and I think it's going to blow up my head. At first, we thought we were going to deliver one for free to play. One on the battle pass, but there's also one, in quotation marks, way in quotation marks, and you'll tell me why so many quotes, Phil. Because if you can craft it on your account, if you burn a number of items of 5 stars at level 0 or level 20, that at level 20 will count many more because you spent artifact experience, and burning these items you will be able to craft it. Once in a while, when you have, as I say, a lot of accumulated items that have gone up wrong, you're going to be able to craft more Holy Frost on your account, and you're not going to be limited by the battle pass and the free. And here, way alert, people who spend proto-gems on resin to grow more artifacts will have more artifacts and more artifact experience that you can upload to have more of these. With which, on the one hand, is a way to get more times this item in all account, especially who has a very good experience management of artifacts, but on the other hand, it is also an incentive to pay to win, because there'll be more people saying, see if I can get more and start spending more proto-gemas on resin. More moons and artifacts, and thus try to force build more times in your account this item. I think this is news you didn't know, and it's gonna blow our heads off. Now, next very simple operating point. Basically, it is an item that will allow you in return also to spend more experience and more resources. Choose an artifact with the main stat you want. With 2 substats, the other 2 will come out random. And here I think it will sometimes come out of 3 substats and sometimes 4 substats, with which I think everyone and all the first 50-50. With this item that we will see and pray and close very hard. Your eyes, and will cross your fingers, will be to see that once you've chosen what you want comes out of 3 or 4 substats. If it's 4 substats, it's better of course, because it has one more dupe, and it's that simple. You can choose the set you want, and in theory by the videos shown in the live stream you can choose the sets that exist in the game, i.e. including for example a Dendro Chalice of critical proportion for Kemet. For example, so far I imagine that all understood. Here comes the important thing, what it's for, how it's used, and how it's the best way to make all this work. I'm going to categorize this in 3 ways that basically separates the 3 most important variants in the accounts. That is, the characters. What kind of characters, and then what kind of item within the IRNG itself of the items. Starting with the characters in a very important separation, you have to keep in mind that capable you have never thought. You have to separate the old characters from the new ones. Why? And by old, I mean what you already have in your account. If there is an old character like Hu Tao, but it is not in your account and you get as a new character, will be in the category of all. New character, i.e. characters that you don't have or that you already had before. Why? Because the characters you already have before, if you have them half built, at least they already have a time of farmio, worn resin, and a minimal construction that, of course, can improve. At the mathematical level with a very simple formula, this item will save you months of farmio if you get the most complicated item. To get on the new spot character so that character as soon as possible can be functional. And I say functional because no one expects this item to give you a perfect item, and it's going to give you 50 to crit worth the item, 15 of probability and 20 of damage. This is not going to happen. It will give you an item that will sort of fix you the character, but in many cases understand it next for this first category, and it is many times so that a character can function. But it can also be the clock or the helmet, and surely the chalice you lack because of the bonus of concrete damage or bonnier within. In Kini's example, and that the substats help make that chalice decent, and at least serve and make us a chalice. Inside the Kinnish set and have flat life percentage defense, flat life and flat attack, and say, "Ah, how amazing. Item has happened to us all as we form." So to start, you have to prioritize the characters that are not built, or you're gonna get new ones on your account over the characters that you already have something, and you've already spent hours of resin time. This is a very important point, and they will save wasting this item because it is not, so it is infinite. In quotation marks, but you can get maximum 3-4 per version if you are Ultra Mega Whale. Second point, no longer what you have or do not have as I said, but the second classification of the characters as such. Prioritize characters that are more important for accounts above characters that contribute less to an account, and here. There's always the disclaimer of do whatever you like, pulls for whatever you like. I just want to get the Kali Geo for me. Noella chicks because I'm a Noel. If it's okay in the end, everyone will use it as they like. But the reality, if someone asks advice on how is the best option, or the best way to use all this, should also look at this item unless you have the all your super mega account and you've passed all the challenges and you're already in the mood that you just want to make an upload. Characters because more niche to show off a little more go for what you like, even if it is not so strong, etc. Since the reality is that the best advice will always be to use this for characters who will carry you the bill because we have a considering that there are not so many players late from Genshin, but that most players from Genshin are always new people, who comes back and goes, or mid people who already want to leave their account ready to feel that they did a good job in Noah. The course of time that Genshin played these characters is very easy, not to talk much here, but basically it's the that there is also around here, or just to realize what your favorite character is, also taking into account the criteria. Like people who are very important, and you have to prioritize this kind of thing in this order that I just told you earlier. Because if you're not literally going to waste this item and you're going to start frustrating yourself pretty much, and third criterion and last, and as always the best for the end in all the videos so that there is until the end who has stayed until the end. Put Blessed Frost for the algorithm in the comments, which is the last criterion, and the most important to use. And choose this artifact so well, considering all the above and the rang of the game, the most difficult thing to make good. Items are warm watches and calm helmets that I will be more concrete with this because I ask much more. So I would tell you that, of the first ever in your life you use this item, I never repeat in your life under any exception in a flower or a pen. This item is not used to remove a flower, or a pen is that I just lack a pen from that one. I don't know if you see the domain. Because the flowers and feathers will soon come out are the items that lower RNG have, because their main flat life stat and Lana attack of flower and pen respectively never ever change with what the possibility of a flower and a pen is triple. And more than triple in some cases than to pull out a good clock chalice or helmet Then never pull out flower or pen in this one in it. This item now inside the chalice clock and helmet, that is the most suitable since, well, if we take into account the RNG and we take into account the amount of main stat that could come out on a helmet on a clock, or in a chalice, basically the item that most wrong has, because I think you've all come to this very conclusion, and I've Zaid, it is true the clock can come out of attack percent of recharge, elementary mastery, energy of life percent. Defense, and I haven't forgotten anything else, but there are 5 possible situations the helmet can come out of probability of damage. I think there are 5 other possibilities of mastery. I think I'm missing no but. Is that the chalice there are 7 bonus elemental damage plus the physical that are 8, plus the chalice can also come out with attack with life with mastery and defense, i.e., the chalice independently of the substat has twice as much range as a good watch. And a good helmet. So friends, the final conclusion of this video is that you very much argue that this item is used continuously in bonus chalice is concrete elemental damage of the specific set of the correct and concrete character, both new and that more I can carry you the account. And finally, I have put the example of Kinich in the video, or I can give an example of Noivillette, who is the best carry in the game, because here I have to give you a radical change to everything we have commented. That you may be surprised to note that Kinich, who, for example, carries his weapon or takes Kinich with Dehaya's weapon, will have a Kinich that your set gives you 40 probability plus 5 base, 45 plus the weapon that you give to another 20. I think it's 65, with which I wouldn't recommend a chalice from within with probability critical damage, because there will be probability. I would recommend you a critical damage chalice with recharge or critical damage with attack percent in Nouvillette, more than the same Nouvillette has. The set that gives 36, and in many cases you usually spare the critical probability, would recommend a chalice of critical damage with air percentage life in Nouvillette, and not a chalice of critical probability and critical damage, and so on, in an enormous amount of characters that don't have to be just bonus chalice elemental damage with critical year critical probability, but sometimes it will be a calyx of elemental damage bonus with critical probability and critical damage, and then pray that the rest of substats they're half decent and they're 4 substats. So in conclusion, this item is mainly directly on board to their NG, not so much to improve old characters, but to facilitate and save you hours of laboring days, weeks, months of labor. In new characters, mainly the most complicated item at the statistical level of the game is the chalices, and mainly there are that use it in characters that can help you carry your account, so that you are at a very comfortable point in the end. I'm going to do whatever I can, so just a little bit more of this is the well-analysis of this new item that will help you a lot. I think that before watching this video, and then you have surely changed a lot your way, and you have solved many doubts, with which I'm glad. So to leave a good Ultimedia, you already know how to support the channel. This helps a lot to the whole team to grow the channel. Recommend the video, and thank you. See you later.